Hello and welcome back to another episode of A Weekly Bee. My name is Bianca and here I talk to you all about my slow handmade wardrobe. So if you're into sewing and a little bit of knitting, you have come to the right place. This week I finished the pattern test, which is the Ellesmere dress by the Petite Stitchery, and it has come out gorgeous. I absolutely love the fit and I'm very happy with this make because I didn't actually have to grade between sizes. I normally have to grade for my bust to my waist to my hips. They normally fall in 3 different sizes, but for the first time I decided to go with just one size because I've recently lost a little bit of weight, especially around my waist area. I've lost a few centimeters there, and by looking at the finished measurements on the chart for the Ellesmere dress, I thought I could squeeze into a size C with no issues, and that's exactly what I did. Just for you to have an idea on what my measurements are and how the size that I picked fits me, my current bust measurement is 32 3/4. My waist is 28.5 inches and my hips are 38 inches. So after checking the finished measurements of the dress, I decided that based on my new measurements that the straight size C would be perfect for me. And I must say I am very pleased with the fit of this. This dress came together really quickly and really easily. The only part where I took more time was with the button placket as well as with the collar. For the button placket there were 12 buttons because I chose to do the midi size, and when I was doing the buttonholes on my Janome sewing machine I was having a bit of trouble. So between all of these buttons, some of them were coming out wrong and I actually had to unpick them. If you've ever unpicked buttonholes, you will know how frustrating it is trying to get that first stitch line unpicked because they are really tiny stitches. So some of them I actually had to leave, others I managed to unpick, but I kept on going. I had to unpick, I think it was overall 7 buttonholes. I was getting very frustrated at that point, and when I got to the last button I had to unpick this one about 2 or 3 times. In the end I just decided to hand stitch it because I wasn't getting anywhere. Then when I went to go pull the thread out of my machine so that I could thread a needle to sew my buttons on, I noticed something strange with how much I had to pull on the thread, which it just didn't feel normal to me. So when I looked at my tension, I saw it was basically on 0, and then I remembered my daughter was here the other day playing with my sewing machine. It was off, but she was messing around when I had my back turned to her and she must have turned the tension dial. As soon as I turned the tension dial back up to 4, I tested it on a scrap piece of fabric, the buttonholes again. I did about 4 or 5 buttonholes in a row and they all came out perfect. So I tried to put it back to 0 to see if I could intentionally get the buttonholes wrong, to see if that was the issue, and somehow it all turned out okay as well. So I was a bit confused why, when I put it back to 0, I wasn't experiencing the same issues. But anyway, that was sorted. That's now been left behind. Now I definitely know next time to check all the settings on my sewing machine if my daughter has been around it. And speaking of daughter, she was the one that chose this fabric for me to use for this dress. So I pulled out 3 cotton poplins from my stash and I asked her which one of the 3 did she think I could use to make a dress. And she chose this one, which out of the 3 was the one that I least wanted because I don't particularly like a white background for me to wear. But she chose it, so I just went with it. I'm sure I told you last week that I had a bit of drama with the fabric where I didn't have enough to cut all of my pattern pieces, and I searched my whole house trying to find a piece of fabric that would go with it. I found some yellow fabric that I wasn't really inclined to use because I knew I just wouldn't wear the dress if I had some random 2 yellow pieces on the side. So I dug a little deeper and found in my fabric to wash pile more of the same fabric miraculously, and I managed to do the whole dress in the same fabric. The pattern test is now finished and the Petite Dressmaker, who is the designer of the dress, she is currently going through all of our feedback and then hopefully she will be releasing the pattern very soon. So do keep an eye out on social media. I've seen a few snippets of everyone else's make and everyone is just looking gorgeous, and I particularly love the collar. I just love a shirt dress. The The Petite Dressmaker is a sponsor for Sew Blood Pressure 25 this year, and she has kindly gifted us a bundle of 3 patterns, which is her baby doll bundle. This week over on Instagram, I will be releasing who all of our sponsors are, so please do go over and have a look at what prizes you could be in with a chance of winning. Speaking of Sew Blood Pressure 25, last week I put out a video with my top 3 sewing patterns that I would like to get done now, especially as we are in the month of June. For Sew Blood Pressure 25, I want to at least tackle one of them, but I don't know which one I want to go for first. My options are the Philippa jeans by Anna Allen, the Calvin wrap dress by True Bias, and then also the Fiona sundress by Closet Core. I also picked out some fabrics that I would like to make each of these patterns in, and I chose a black viscose fabric for the Calvin wrap dress. I then chose this blue linen viscose for the Fiona dress, and I pulled out this pink denim fabric for the Philippa jeans. Now I'm still stuck on which one I want to go for, and I'm leaning more towards the Fiona and the Philippa jeans, but I still don't know which one of the two I want to start first, because I'm not going to be able to finish them both in time for the end of June, which is the end of the sewing challenge. So please drop a comment down below, which one should I go for between the Fiona and the Philippa jeans? Blue viscose for Fiona or pink denim for the Philippa jeans? After 2 weeks of no knitting, I have finally decided on my next knitting pattern, and surprise, surprise, it's gonna be another sweater. I'm on a mission this year to use as much of my stash as I possibly can. That not only includes my fabric stash, but also my yarn stash. So I pulled out this beautiful cobalt blue yarn that I got from Aldi quite a while back, maybe at the beginning of the year even, because I know I did 2 yarn purchases this year. This one and a kind of minty green, very chunky yarn, I think for 10mm needles. Anyway, I pulled out this yarn and I chose to do the Ellie sweater, which is from Rita Made This. This is the Ellie sweater that I tested for Rita Made This a few months ago. And yes, this pattern comes with the block colored prints, but I am omitting those and I'm doing it just in one plain color. This sweater also calls for a chunkier yarn than this Aran weight yarn, and because of that I actually had to knit up a test swatch, well, half of a swatch, and based on that I made some calculations to how many stitches I needed to cast on in order to get the same finished size as the sweater, because I really like the bit of the oversized feel of the sweater, not only on the bodice but on the sleeves, and the plan is to add some flowers embroidered or lazy daisy hand stitched flowers onto the bodice, and I think as well as on the sleeves. I managed to knit up most of the front bodice this week, so I'm just over halfway of that, and I'm a few rows away from starting the neck shaping. This has actually come together very, very quickly, and I'm not sure if it's because I've just been away from knitting for a few weeks or what, but it's come along very quickly. But I am in no rush to get this one done. I'm very much enjoying slowly creating my handmade wardrobe, from my sewing to my knitting, just taking my time, enjoying the process, adding all the little details. I think that is what's making my projects feel a lot more, I don't know what's the word, a lot more quality, a lot more me, because I'm taking my time, choosing my things carefully and not just making for the sake of making. So that is all that I've been working on this week, and I want to tell you about a little exciting project that I have coming up. On the 21st of June, I'm going to be hosting a free Build Your Confidence in Sewing workshop over at Abakhan in Mostyn. If you are a person who has a sewing machine and you're a little bit intimidated by it, or are curious and want to learn how to sew, this is going to be the perfect workshop for you, because you can come to it. We're gonna have a no pressure environment, so no pressure to finish a specific project, but test out stitches, test out some seams, practice buttonholes, maybe throw in a zipper, just test the machine, not be afraid to make mistakes, because that's how we learn at the end of the day. There are a few more spaces left if you'd like to book a seat for that one, and I will leave the link in the description box below. Your registration is required, because there might not be a space available if you just show up on the day. So please do book a spot if you would like to come along. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please click on the like button and also subscribe to my channel so that you can accompany me on slowly building up my handmade wardrobe. That's it from me today. Bye for now.